Peter, am I catching you on the way? Did Rich tell me that you're going to watch Deion this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Colorado USC game. I'm looking forward to that. One of the things I have just been fascinated about or fascinated to see in the last month is that Deion Sanders, who for years was the most interesting story in sports, is again the most interesting story in sports in about his sixth iteration as a sportsman. So I never really thought that I would say that, yeah, that Deion Sanders, he's doing the same job as Nick Saban, and he's doing it incredibly well, but he is, obviously.
What was the first time that you met him, Peter?
Oh, well, probably I'd say the first kind of interesting time that I had with him was in 1992 when he was playing baseball for the Atlanta Braves, and he wanted a new contract with the Atlanta Falcons. He was the best corner in football, wanted to be paid like a quarterback. And so he said, okay, I'll show you. I'm going to play baseball. So he was playing with the Atlanta Braves, and one day, Deion, at the time in 1992, Sports Illustrated was every bit as powerful as ESPN, maybe even more so. So I went to visit him in Pittsburgh. I actually went to his hotel room in the downtown Hilton in Pittsburgh, and I knocked on his door, and he had taken an O for that day against Tim Wakefield. And I knocked on his door, and he comes to the door, no shirt on, glistening with sweat, with a bat in his hand, and he was taking practice swings in front of the mirror. And he was talking about how I got to get out of this slump. So, but I'll never forget that week in Sports Illustrated, the cover was basically Which Way, Deion? And it had half of Deion's face with a baseball cap on and the other half with a football helmet on.
You know, and you say that, and you just think about the impact that he has had on sports for so long. Will he have had a bigger impact as a coach or a player?
I mean, we're still at kind of in the adolescent phases of that, and we'll see. But I think people need to remember about what was going on in sports 30 years ago. And I'll just tell you this. Deion Sanders was the best cover corner in football at that time. And in that same year, he led the major leagues with 16 triples in 97 games, just 97 games. Hit 16 triples. He homered off Oral Hershiser and David Cohn. So, I mean, this guy was the bomb. He was the greatest. And so I think we all have to realize, I mean, this is a guy who hit 517 in the World Series. But I think we all have to realize that, yes, it's okay to be a prisoner of the moment, to say this is incredible what he's doing as a coach. And I think it is. But he was pretty incredible 30 years ago, too.
What's your favorite Deion football story?
Well, my favorite story was the time that, I mean, this is terrible. This is very selfish.
Oh, good. We like that here.
I was working for ABC Monday Night Football for 2 years in 94 and 95. And I remember, or was it 95 and 96? 2 of those years. But anyway, I remember I asked Deion at the time if I could interview him Monday during halftime for the game. They were, you know, he was the big story at the time. He was going to have a little surgery on Monday. So I went and interviewed him when actually he was just still groggy from the surgery. And he said, I said I would do it. I'm going to do it. And he did it. He was groggy. He wasn't great, but he just got up out of the chair afterwards and walked away. Like I said, that was a pretty cool thing to remember the agreement you made. You're probably in the recovery room. You can't even see straight, but you said, I made an agreement. I said I would do it, and he did it.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.